Hey guys, glad you stopped by. So this week we're gonna do another crock pot meal. I love the crock pot. I just hands down love crock pot. It enables me to cook something nice that doesn't take long in the beginning, allows it to cook all day, and then no time at all, and it's on the table when you get home or you're done doing what you're doing. I mean, we're doing a lot around here at the house. I mean, all the time. Plus, I'm trying to get other stuff done. I got a specialist I'm going to see this week, and that's going to take up some time, and I've got things getting ready to go on for Christmas, right? Cookies that need made, meals that need to be planned. So this really frees me up at any rate by doing a crock pot, and I realized that I didn't have a Salisbury steak crock pot dish. I have not done one. I have a Salisbury steak dish that I did a couple years ago, but not one for a slow cooker. And I thought, man, that sounds really good. We haven't had that in forever, and I've never done one on a slow cooker. So today, that's what we're gonna do. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. If you're returning or one of our new subscribers, which we are gaining them all the time, we're just steadily growing. I love it. Welcome back, and thank you for stopping back by. And thank you for subscribing if you did so. If you haven't yet, you might want to consider. That would be kind of awesome. And on that same note, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Comments, always welcomed. I love comments. I respond to all of them, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, all I ask, just like anybody else here in our community would, is you be civil, right? It's okay to disagree with me or anybody else in the comments. Just think before you type. That's all we ask. Be polite in your disagreements. So, that being said, why don't we head on down here to the counter where I'm going to give you all your measurements in tablespoons, teaspoons, and cups, along with milligrams or grams and milliliters. That way everybody can play along. So let's head on down here to the counter, and we're going to get started on this slow cooker Salisbury steak. All right, hold on for me just 1 second. All right, so we're down here at the counter now. Some things you will need: probably a couple bowls and a pan of some sort, because we're going to do a little bit of frying in it, or searing as the case may be, and a crock pot. Now this is obviously just the crock of the crock pot, or the slow cooker, but I only have a little bit of room, so we have to kind of work in stages. This is really kind of the fun part of cooking, other than cooking, at least for me, is I get to figure out how to do this, right? Limited space. How do I make this work so I can do it on camera, do it efficiently, and make you guys get it with me, right? So anyhow, first thing we need to do, I've got some oil in my pan, a tablespoon's worth. I got to get that heating up so we can sear our Salisbury steaks before we sear them, right? Crock pot, I have got one small and medium onion, about 140 grams, and I've just got it thinly sliced. Not even thinly sliced, just sliced. So that way it can go in the gravy, right? So we're gonna go ahead and put those in there. And you can put more or less onion. Doesn't matter, completely up to you. I just went with medium small. The original recipe that I got this off of, which I don't remember the name of the site, but I'll leave it right here as always, called for one small onion, but we like onion, so we went small to medium. And if I would have had more than one onion, I would have probably done up another onion. To this, I'm going to add 8 ounces, a half a pound, 227 grams of sliced mushrooms. These are just plain old button mushrooms, kind of you pick up at any store. That was 140 grams of onion, by the way. And odd thing with sliced mushrooms at the moment at the grocery, at least the white button ones, but we're gonna put those in there. They're actually 50 cents cheaper than the whole mushrooms, which is why I bought them pre-sliced. I mean, if I can save 50 cents and I don't have to slice them, that's a bargain every time. All right, so we've got our onions and our mushrooms. We cut them up, we got them in the crock pot, right? Our oil is heating. The next thing we need to do is make our Salisbury steaks. So in this bowl right here, I have got 1.5 pounds of hamburger, which is 600 and, I wrote it down. Where did I write it down at? There it is, beside me. It is 681 grams, sorry. 1.5 pounds, 681 grams of 80-20 ground beef, right? That's 80% meat, 20% fat. That's the best to keep, to make hamburger with, basically. And in a way, we're just making a fancy hamburger or a meatloaf. And then to this, I am going to add 1/3 cup, 55 grams of panko breadcrumbs. Now, you use whatever breadcrumb you like. I just have panko on hand, so that's what we're using. And that was a 1/3 cup of that at 55 grams. And then I've got a 1/4 cup of minced onion, which was 30 grams, you know, and it's just dried minced onion. Yeah, you buy it, usually comes in a bigger container, get a lot of it. If you want to use a fresh minced onion, you most certainly can. I would keep it about the same, maybe even dare say go to a 1/2 cup of minced onion, but dried is just so much more convenient, I think, in this case at any rate. When it comes to making like fancy hamburgers, meatloaf, things like that, there's nothing wrong with using a dried minced onion. And then I've got 1 clove of garlic that I have pressed, or you can mince it, and it's 9 grams. And did you guys catch last week's video, dinner video? We were talking about what determines a large minced or a large garlic clove. I still have yet to find out. If you know, though, if you know, don't keep the secret. Let me know. And then the last thing we're going to add to this before we give it a good mix up is 1 large egg, which is just 50 grams worth of egg. Go ahead and get that popped. Here's another beef I have real quick before I get this mixed up. When did eggshells become so thin that you can't really break them easily? It's like they crunch. I don't even know how to. I've had the worst time with eggshells as of late. But anyhow, so let me get this mixed up and then we can move on to the next step. Okay, so we are mixed, right? Got our mini meatloaf, so to speak, but it's Salisbury steak. And I use a glove when I mix. You don't have to. You can use a spoon. You can use your bare hand. I just think it seems to work better for me. Don't get it all over my hands. But next thing we're going to do is say hi to Chris as she walks in the door. But we're going to take our meat. We're going to divide it into 6 patties, which is 4 ounces each if you are measuring them out on a scale, which if you aren't, you should be. But yeah, just get them as evenly divided as you can into 6 patties, right? 4 ounces each. So let me get those divided up and we will talk about what to do next. All right, so we got our patties made, 6 of them, and I was wrong, it's not 4 ounces, it's 4.5 ounces. I forgot we added stuff to them. What I was thinking. But so now we're just going to simply take our balls of 4.5 ounces of hamburger and turn them into patties, and we're going to set them on in our skillet and get them cooked. We're just going to sear them about 2 to 3 minutes aside. Yeah, and then we'll flip them over, do another 2 to 3 minutes, and as they come out of the cast iron or off your skillet, we'll just go ahead and put them in the crock pot. Okay, so we got our Salisbury steaks are seared, and we got them sitting on the crock pot, just laying on top of the onions and the mushrooms, having a good time. So the last thing we need to do before we smack the lid on this thing is make our sauce up. You know, the gravy that's going to go over top of this. So in my little cup, or my mason jar right here, I've got 1.5 cups of beef broth, which I'm just using Better Than Bouillon beef and some hot water. And we're going to go ahead and get that in there in our bowl. Can you see my bowl? Yeah. All right. And then we will add 1 packet of gravy mix. Yeah, any packet of gravy mix you'd like. It's completely up to you. I just grab whatever is first in the aisle, but I don't buy a whole lot. I try really hard to not buy a whole lot of pre-made stuff. So, yeah, but when in Rome, so to speak. So 1 packet, 1 ounce of gravy mix is 24 grams worth of gravy mix powder. And then to that, I'm going to add 38 grams, 2 tablespoons of just plain old regular ketchup, your favorite brand of ketchup. I started to read an article about or maybe I saw it. No, it was I started to watch a YouTube snip from America, one of the guys on America's Test Kitchen, that was talking about how it's almost better for you and more economical to buy store-bought ketchup. It's just like one of those few things that you would never get the same benefits out of making it yourself, which I thought was kind of crazy. But I mean, I wish I would have finished watching the whole thing, but I didn't. And then I've got 1 teaspoon, 6 grams of Dijon mustard that we're going to put in here. Like that. And then the very last thing we need to put in is 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. Dried parsley flakes. Yeah, now you can use fresh. If you use fresh parsley, that's fine. Just chop it up and then use 2 tablespoons, not 1. I just didn't have. I don't have any fresh parsley. I haven't for most of the summer, but I've got plenty of dried parsley, so I just use it instead. That being said, go ahead and we'll give this a stir, just like such. And then we're going to take it and we're going to pour it over our Salisbury steaks, mushrooms, and onions. Just like that. Get them all a little wet. Get all that in there. We'll finish getting the whatnots in. And then that way, all we have left to do is find the lid. I'll be right back. Guess what I found? The lid. We're going to go ahead and put that on there. We'll turn our crock pot on, the low temperature setting, and then we're just going to let it go for 5 hours, right? So when I come back, we'll talk about what we need to do next. There's one more step after the 5 hour mark that'll take like 10 minutes, and then we can eat. So when I get back, we'll talk about that one next step and then try some. All right, see you here in a second. Okay guys, so we've been our 5 hours on our Salisbury steaks on low. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off for right this very second. And I'm gonna take it off, take the lid off. That smells amazing. Just amazing. All right, so now it's actually been a true 5 hours. I forgot I had a second timer done. That's all right, there we are. So here, let's take a look at where we're at right now. And there we are. Yeah, there is our meat and potatoes, so to speak. Well, at least the meat part. We're not actually doing potatoes. But yeah, I think we look pretty good, you know, personally. But then, hey, what do I know? Oh. Yep, someday. Someday we'll have a cameraman. Or woman, I'm not picky. So, next thing we need to do with this, to give it more of a gravy look, so to speak, is we're gonna go ahead and take our Salisbury steaks out of the crock pot. They're falling apart. Okay, so we got those out, all 6 of them, right there. And I mean, not that it was that important, but you didn't get to see me take these out because my camera died. The battery went dead on me. I didn't realize it, but there are our 6 right there. So now what we gotta do is I've got 2 tablespoons, 20 grams worth of cornstarch, and 4 tablespoons, 60 milliliters of just room temperature tap water. We're gonna put that together like such. Grab a fork, and we're gonna mix this up, make a slurry. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this cornstarch in here and let this gravy thicken up a little so it actually becomes a gravy. I remember, well, what seems like all day for me because it was, but a couple minutes gone by for you. We put that gravy pack in there, and not that it hasn't done its job, it's given it flavor, but with all the broth and everything else and the stuff that's been cooked down off the hamburgers, it needs a little help. Yeah, so we got our slurry made. So what we'll want to do is we'll pour this in here, just like such, and we'll give this a good mix, like that. And while we're giving it a good mix, we'll turn our crock pot back on. We're gonna put it on high, and once we get this good to go, like that, we're gonna let this cook on high for 10 minutes and let that gravy thicken up a little bit. All right, so we've been 10 minutes and we've let that thicken up. It's thickened up nicely. It looks just like gravy. It's beautiful. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our Salisbury steak. Now you could probably do this a couple ways. You know, if you have a dish you're gonna put this in, you know, or to serve, I would go ahead and put your Salisbury steak on the, you know, serving platter and then just, you know, ladle the gravy over the top of it. But in our case, it's just for the table, so I'm just gonna keep it in the crock to serve it. And since there's only 6 here, I mean, it's only, I mean, I say only 2 a piece, but it's actually very filling. These are about the same size as the ones we would make on the skillet. Yeah, which I will leave a thing for that on there. But we're gonna go ahead and get this in here. Now I'm still on high and all that good stuff. So what we're gonna do is let these warm back up because they have been sitting here for a second, right? 10 minutes while we let that turn into a gravy. And then we can get on to serving this dish. These smell so good. I wish you guys could come over. Yeah, I mean you could. There's nothing stopping you, but I know families, logistics, things like that make it tough. Yeah, someday I would love to be able to have a great big get together and just invite everybody. You know, whoever can make it. I'll even travel a little. You know, and we'll find a state that's like central to everybody. We all just get together and have dinner. We can each bring a dish, make it like a giant potluck. All right. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes, you know, at least 5-10 minutes with the lid on it, let it all warm back up. And then when I come back, we'll try some. All right, I'll see you here in just 1 second. Okay guys, so we are good to go. Went ahead and got her plated up there. I think we're looking awesome. Got it over rice and some corn. Now you could easily do this over mashed potatoes, some noodles, you know, however you'd like to do, have it with bread, any vegetable, just by itself as a sandwich, which is always good. I love like leftovers when there is any, but not very often, with Salisbury steak period, to make sandwiches out of it. But anyhow, let's go ahead and give this a try. I can see the steam coming off of it. It's gonna be hot, it's okay. Even though it cut through nice, like it, you know, it's firm and all that melt in your mouth. Just melt in your mouth. And that gravy is amazing. I love Salisbury steak anyhow, and then when you throw mushrooms and onions into it, you guys have got to give this a try. It is amazing. And no work. That's the best part. I mean, really. This would be a good Sunday meal. Yeah, I think, for family. And you could double the recipe. I can't imagine why you couldn't. Yeah, and make 12 and set them in there on top of each other. They're already cooked. And your gravy going over top. I think it would work perfectly. I think. Yeah. But if not, 6 is plenty. I actually, having 2 on my plate's almost gluttony. And I know this just because, you know, we eat Salisbury steak, and I know 2 is probably way too many, but I'm feeling extra hungry. But anyhow, give this a try. Let me know if you do. Hands down. Or if you have a similar recipe or something that you like to do with Salisbury steak. It'd be fun to hear about it, you know, to share. Tomorrow for dessert, we're gonna do bread pudding. And I am very excited to do this bread pudding. As it hit me, I don't think I've ever actually had bread pudding. Or, you know, I know I've never made it other than last year when we made it on stovetop. Somebody had requested a stovetop version of bread pudding, and so we did it. But I don't think I've ever had an actual, you know, traditional bread pudding. We'll talk about traditional tomorrow, but all the same. So anyhow, I said give this a try. Let me know if you do. Down in the comments below or on Facebook, either one. And meanwhile, I'm gonna go holler at the crew, which is just Abby and Chris, and that way they can make their plates. We can sit down and have a good meal. But until tomorrow, I love you. I love you very much. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else that you love them and you love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's going to make them smile and feel good either way it goes. And it's going to make you smile and feel good to tell them, right? I guarantee it. No, it does me. And if you invite them over for some of this Salisbury steak in the crock pot, I guarantee it's going to put a smile on their face, probably lead to a long night of conversation, you know, and there's enough there. You could invite a friend or two over at least, you know, and make a good night of it. So, till tomorrow for bread pudding, I love you, and I will see you then. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.